The challenges we face today are unlike anything we saw before. As many argue that the pandemic had a positive impact on the environment, boosting economic recovery would put extreme pressure on natural resources that no one has yet calculated. Is the world ready for recovery? Are our businesses ready for recovery? Could it be a sustainable recovery? In this series, we aspire to trigger thoughts within MENA and beyond about the future of sustainability. Sustainability in business is a contributor to value creation and to competitive edge. It is a great platform to trigger innovation, enhance productivity, and demonstrate impact. Today with us, we're very honored to have him, is Ibrahim Al-Zubi, the Chief Sustainability Officer at Majid Al Futtaim Holding. Ibrahim, thank you so much for making the time to join us.
Thank you for having me, Ruba.
Ibrahim, you have been working on sustainability in the private sector for a while now. Is there an ROI of sustainability, and how would you define it?
Absolutely, yes. And this is, by the way, the old news for sustainability practitioners like yourself and myself. We know that there is cost saving, there is a long-term profitability, as well as it is a corporate citizenship, as well as responsibility of the business. But I think we're living a pandemic now, and then this new pandemic taught us that the ROI of sustainability was much more than an economic one. We talk about the well-being now, the well-being economy. We talk about the responsibility of the businesses in the different sectors in the community, like the food security, the jobs, the R&D, as well as being positive part of this community. So for example, we've been in our company, in Majid Al Futtaim, we had a net positive commitment, which we were committed to a couple of years ago, which led us to invest more in energy solutions, renewable energy solutions, water, in a water red list region. But what showed us this pandemic is sustainability practitioners have been working on pandemics since the beginning, which is either name it climate change, water shortages, creating jobs, socioeconomic impact. But what are we living now, which helped us to be resilient and agile, and to pass such a pandemic, you need to be resilient and agile. So for us, there was no new stuff by trying to be agile and resilient. So I think the ROI showed it was much highlighted during this pandemic.
You know, the fact is, Ibrahim, that there are some companies that are still taking CSR and sustainability as a way of marketing, showing, looking good, and so on, which might be an end or byproduct of the process. But do you see a transformation in how businesses perceive sustainability beyond Majid Al Futtaim? I know you're doing a great job. You have started early on. But how do you see the private sector mindset shifting, whether it's because of the pandemic or otherwise, in the coming few years?
No, private sector is definitely shifting, by the way. So I'm not sure who's still thinking of the Stone Age now when it comes to sustainability. Now, funny enough, we call it Stone Age now if you don't consider sustainability to be in the DNA, if we do, the DNA of your business plan. For many reasons, by the way, not necessarily because of the pandemic, but because of a pure economic and social impact assessments and stakeholders engagement, such as the young people. Like now, our customers are different than our customers now are different than the customers a year ago, and the customers a year ago, they are different than the customers 5 or 10 years ago. So I see a huge shift globally and in the region. I see a great engagement. We see a lot of commitments from global companies, regional companies, including SMEs as well. People now want to do things right. And to do things right is to think in a triple bottom line approach. You need to think of the planet, course, because you need to rely on natural resources. So you need to ensure that these natural resources are here now and will be here in 5 years and will be again there around in 10 or 15 years, so you can sustain your business. As well as you need to think of the people, because now it's not only financial sheets or books we look at, it's financial books, data, as well as people. So people are as important, your own people in the company and the communities as well. Healthy communities, healthy people that have a direct impact on making profit for sure. And the third one as well, the profit. So it's a triple bottom line approach, planet, profit, people. I personally believe that it's the best formula. In Majd al-Fataim, sustainability has been in the heart of everything we do since long time. We proved that there is an ROI. I can name for you different companies as well, globally and regionally. This is now the era of sustainable business. We have to listen to the scientists. And this is what the pandemic showed us. We have to listen to the scientists. And we do have sustainability scientists. We have a climate scientist. And guess what? Climate change is a pandemic. It is a pandemic. So we've been living it. And now maybe because we use the term pandemic a lot, we can use the same thing for climate change. We have floods, we have droughts, we have too much water in a country, in a part of a country where we have droughts in the same country. And this will have an impact on food, crops, farmers, business, economy, import, export. So I think many lessons can be learned from what we live right now. And again, this will feed into sustainable business. So in a pure business and economic statement, I would say, if you want to be around, you want to make money, good, you want to make profit, but without having a sustainable business model, you can make it maybe now, but I'm not sure you can make it in the future.
That's a great message, Ibrahim. I want to also build on what you mentioned about investing in your people and empowering them. Sometimes also companies who might have the passion and commitment for sustainability would rather work outside their boundaries, like go local communities, NGOs, and so on. And sometimes they overlook this internal part of human resources engagement. Can you share your expertise in that regard? Because we also know that sustainability is about mainstreaming into everything, procurement, marketing, HR. How do you go about these things, and how do you see this changing the way you do business internally?
Again, we have a clear strategy about this for more than 10 years now. And by the way, our human capital department, we don't call it human resources. We call it a human capital because our people are part of our capital. We invest heavily on that, and we have clear targets and KPIs. And one of the things we invested as well when it comes to people is we created a leadership institute to train and engage our employees and the local communities. And this leadership institute has clear courses and programs related to leadership, related to what we do, related to retail, related to customer experience, so data analytics. So this leadership institute has different schools, and within these schools we talk about the School of Technology and Data Analytics. Data is one of the most important capitals we look at. So we look at financial sheets, data sheets, data we get from the different POS, point of sales, and the people. And sustainability is like the platform or the umbrella for all these pillars. So our stakeholders, not only NGOs, by the way, our stakeholders, we work very close with government. Public-private partnership is such an important thing for us to sustain our business as well, because we need, if we think of policies, which is mainly the government's jobs, the best people to implement and suggest and be the lab for that is the private sector. I look at us, for example, we invest in technological innovation because we have targets we have to achieve, and as well as we need to run our operations the most efficient way, which means that we do need to invest in R&D. The second part, we have geographical location as well. So we manage operations more than 16 markets, from Eastern Europe to Eastern Africa, including the Middle East. So we can tell if this works where and how, and who's the best stakeholder for that. So our experience been amazing. I've been working with human capital since I was appointed here in the company for more than 10 years now. And I think the cherry on the top now, living on the pandemic, looking at the well-being economy. And I really like to emphasize on saying the well-being economy. We talk about a $3 billion business, by the way. That's the well-being economy here in this part of the world. And that's an opportunity for us as a business to look as a new mainstreams for us to generate profits. And at the same time, it's doing well by doing good. People are aware of now what they eat, the organics, healthy, seasonal food, yoga, meditation, all these things now. This is a new stuff for some businesses, but it is a new mainstream for us. So the economy of well-being, the investing in our people, looking at people as capital is a main thing for us, and investing in it in infrastructure and software and hardware been really instrumental in going through this pandemic so far.
Fantastic. This is really inspiring. Can I ask you one more thing about the Majid full-time experience as well? We hear a lot now about the reporting on sustainability. And there are many tools and many frameworks, especially recently after the SDGs were out and so on. How important is reporting, and how complex should it be or should it not be, from your opinion?
Thank you very much for this question. I'll start with how complex. In my opinion, I don't think it should be complex. Period. The baseline for us to achieve that ESG rating is one, transparency, and second, comparability. You need to have data. You need to have a baseline. You need to have clean, audited data with history on it, third party, and then you need to put it in a report or a GRI report or an NGRI report. It doesn't make a difference, to be honest with you, in my personal opinion. As far as you know and you're aware that it's transparent and comparable, you can put it in the platform you like to do. So we put it in an annual sustainability report. We managed to put it, we did some extra work to put it in an ESG rating. But from pure experience, I can share with you that as far as you are transparent and comparable and you have clean audited data, I don't see any issue with the platform you like. Do you need to report? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Of course you need to report, because you need to have a baseline. You need to tell yourself first and your stakeholder how good you're doing and what are the challenges and what needs to be fixed.
I totally agree with speaking the business language, so sustainability in the business language. How do you see our whole society, schools, universities, even businesses, preparing people to be able to do that? Because, you know, we share a background in civil engineering and environment, and each took this pathway of development and sustainability and so on. But there are things that we had to learn the hard way, nice hard way, but really there are things that we've never heard at school, we've never learned about at school or even during internships or at the beginning. So how do you see the role of education and the whole society, the framework, the ecosystem, if you wish, in preparing people with this mindset, with this ability of speaking the right language, understanding each other's language?
You know, in my opinion, if we look at, when you talk about education, I look at academic institutions. There is a gap, or there was a gap, and the issue years ago that we did not have that interaction between reality, or when you send graduates to the market and what they can learn and how they can implement what they learn. And I can personally see the shift of academic institutions into executive education, into looking at engaging people from the businesses, the government, into their. I still look at these education institutions, either it's Quota 12 or universities, as a foundation for us. But again, the sky's the limit. You want to continue learning in executive education, you want to do master's, research, PhD, it's all good. It will not harm. But at the same time, the model I follow, I always advise people with having a hybrid way. Hybrid is education is perfect, but don't underestimate the experience. I learned, and I still learn from operational teams, like from managers in the shopping malls, in the hotels, in the Carrefour. They look at solutions because for them, it's how they manage this issue in a practical way. And I learn, I do my best to learn something, if not every day, at least once a week, from a practical point of view, something I did not read. And this is where you can find it from the experience. And again, I look at my colleagues in Managed Entertainment, all opcos. We have, it's a school by itself.
I can imagine. Ibrahim, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and the amazing insights. I think this episode is going to be very, very, and inshallah, successful all over.